What is up, guys, and welcome to another edition of Market Marauders, beating the market one trade at a time. For you, the Market Marauders investment channel helps you find the best deals in the market. If that's something you're interested in, make sure you smash the subscribe button down below, like, comment, and share. Now, without further ado, going into the earnings plays for today. Hope everybody was able to lock in those profits. Hope everybody was able to grow their account. Today was a pretty good day. I was able to capitalize on some Tesla calls, so that was wonderful. Able to turn around $4,200 profit on that today, so I'm pretty happy about that. Hope everybody else was able to lock in those profits today, and hope everybody is just having a good week in general. On a Tuesday night, the beginning of the market this week, Monday was kind of dull in my opinion. Not too many things going on, but as far as that's concerned, there's a lot of other moves going on in the market. So let's jump into it. So the first one I had on the community tab. So these plays that I'm talking about today are from the community tab. So if you're familiar with all the moves going on this week that I have on my watch list that I'm going to be going over, check the community tab. So on the first one that I had for today, we got ticker sign WMT for Walmart. Moving average 10 is $134.99. Moving average 50 is $133.68. And the moving average 100 is $132.34. So if we look at where it ended today, it ended at $134.71. And then after hours, it went down 43 cents. So, not too bad of a metric on this one. Denoted by the chart, it still is showing that it is bullish at the current moment, even though it went down a little bit after hours. And that is denoted by the moving average 10 line crossing the moving average 50 line, which it did a while ago, and it being above the moving average 100 line as well. So let's go into some earnings, and let's see how they performed earnings-wise. So going to their earnings, reading the top highlights, it says Walmart U.S. Q2 company sales grew 9.3%, and Walmart U.S. e-commerce sales grew 97%. Q2 FY21 GAAP EPS is $2.27. Adjusted EPS of $1.56. Company incurs increment cost related to the pandemic of $1.5 billion. So going into some more of these categories, we can see total revenue was $137.7 billion, an increase of $7.4 billion, or 5.6%. Excluding currency, total revenue would have increased 7.5% to reach $140.2 billion. So they basically increased 5.6%. That's a pretty good metric in my opinion, showing that people are still going to their stores. Going to U.S. comp sales, Walmart U.S. comp sales increased 9.3%, led by strength in general merchandise and food. So I believe that metric, definitely with the pandemic going on, they were able to capitalize on people going and buying a lot of groceries, stocking up on a lot of stuff. Walmart U.S. e-commerce sales grew 97% with strong results across all channels. So that's a good metric for them on that. Sam's Club comp sales increased 13.3%. E-commerce sales grew 39%. Reduced tobacco sales negatively infected comp sales by approximately 390 basis points. So I guess that means a lot of people weren't going out and buying tobacco during the pandemic. Growth in membership income was the highest quarterly increase in more than 5 years. New member count increased more than 60%. So people definitely went out and got those Sam's Club cards when the whole pandemic situation began. And definitely, it makes sense to see their membership go up that much. Walmart International net sales were $27.2 billion, a decrease of 6.8%. Changes in currency rates negatively affected net sales by approximately $2.4 billion. Excluding currency, net sales would have been $29.6 billion, an increase of 1.6%. Net sales included the effects of government mandated closure of companies' Flipkart business in India for a portion of the quarter, as well as actions in markets in Africa and Central America. So, you know, basically they got, attacked by regulations by different governments, which was kind of, expected considering the pandemic going on. Operating income, consolidated operating income was 6.1 billion, an increase of 8.5%. Adjusted operating income in constant currency increased 18.6%, led by strength across all operating segments, including significantly lower losses in Walmart U.S. e-commerce. So they've basically grown their operating income, which is good. You want a company that has a strong operating income, and their international, sales going down, to me was kind of a given considering the pandemic. Sam's Club membership count going up was kind of a given, but 97%, increase on their e-commerce side. I did not expect an increase that big, so it's pretty positive in that regards, and a 9.3% increase, which to me is still pretty good considering all the things that have gone on. So going into the next one on here, we got ticker sign AAP for Advanced Auto. Moving average 10 on them is $162.72. Moving average 50 is $159.36. Moving average 100 is $156.30. And they ended the day at $162.85. Then after hours, they went down 6 cents to end at $162.79. So not too bad of a metric. I would say that they are bullish. Their moving average 10 line is above the moving average 50 and the moving average 100 line, which to me denotes that they are bullish and steadily increasing on that metric. So going into how they performed today, it says from their earnings, second quarter 2020 results, delivered net sales of $2.5 billion. Comparable store sales increased by 7.5%. Operating income margin increased 319 basis points. Adjusted operating income margin increased 274 basis points. Diluted EPS increased 58.4% to $2.74. Adjusted diluted EPS increased 46% to 2.92. So, their metrics aren't that bad. Says through the first 5 weeks of the third quarter, the company continues to see strong growth in DIY, omnichannel, and positive comparable store sales in professional. While uncertainties remain around the impact of the pandemic during the balance of the year, the company believes it is well positioned to meet the demands in business. So I have an Advanced Auto Parts here where I live. So I can tell you that every time I've gone in there, there's been a lot of people in there. They do have a sign on the door about masks. So where I'm at, masks are required. But still, it's a thing that, they've adapted to, and it hasn't really stopped people, in my opinion, from going in and getting their parts for their cars. So, definitely good to see them increase their sales during this time, especially when a lot of companies are struggling. So, a good metric for them. I definitely, expect to see them continue to grow as time goes on. I don't think that more people bought stuff because of the pandemic. I think the company just has, a really good, growth model that they're, going behind. And, a lot of people also, are getting more used cars now, which may have, people doing maintenance and stuff. It's easy to fix on cars nowadays because you got YouTube, and you could just figure out stuff about your car, unless you have some exotic luxury car that's hard to maintenance, where you need special tools. Majority of the cars out there today, you can go and maintenance yourself on YouTube. So I definitely see a growth culture around people on the do-it-yourself side, fixing their cars. which to me is going to be an increase of their business as a whole. Going to the next one that I had for earnings today that was on the list, we got HD for Home Depot. Moving average 10 on them is $285.46. Moving average 50 is $283.85. And the moving average 100 is $280.14. So the VWAP 14 is 285, so close to the moving average 10. And they ended the day at $285 even. But it looks like they went down 68 cents after hours to end at $284.32. So going on here, we can see that they are still bullish, even though they went down today some. Looks like they rallied quite a bit before the earnings came out. So that was expected, in my opinion. Most companies rally before their earnings. So that was kind of expected on my point of view. But, going on here, we can see that they are still bullish. Their moving average 10 line is above their moving average 50 line and the moving average 100 line. So if you're not familiar with the channel, that's basically the way that I denote if a stock is bullish or bearish. I use the moving average 10 and moving average 50 and the moving average 100 metric to see if the moving average 10 line crosses both of these, then I would say that it has become bullish, especially if it's above both of those metrics. And as the stock begins to go down below these metrics, then I would say it has began a bearish pattern. So that's the way I read charts, just a personal preference. There are a lot of different ways to read charts out there. Some people read candle patterns. Other people use, different metrics to read charts. This is just a personal preference for how I read them. So going into their earnings, we can see they declared their quarterly dividend of $1.50 per share. So, if you're interested in learning how to build a dividend portfolio, make sure you check out the channel. Check out my main homepage. I have a small mini course. It's free 99. So all you gotta do is click on it, and you can go and learn how to build a dividend portfolio. It's from the perspective of M1 Finance. So just bear that in mind. If you want to use, Robinhood or Webull to build your dividend portfolio, be my guest. I just like M1 the best as far as doing long-term portfolios. So all the principles of that dividend portfolio guide apply to all those different platforms. So just use that information. Hope it helps somebody out there to start your first dividend portfolio. So going into earnings from them, says the world's largest home improvement retailer today reported sales of $38.1 billion in the second quarter of fiscal 2020, a 23.4% increase from the second quarter of fiscal 2019. So basically, they increased 23.4% year over year, which is good in my opinion. Comparable sales for the second quarter of fiscal 2020 were positive, 23.4%. And comparable sales in the U.S. were positive 25%. Net earnings for the second quarter of fiscal 2020 were $4.3 billion or 4.02 diluted share, compared to the net earnings of $3.5 billion or 3.17 per diluted share in the same period, fiscal 2019. I don't know. This is worded really weirdly. So, whoever wrote this, head of, I guess earnings, y'all should word this a lot differently. It's basically, year over year difference. So I don't know why they worded it this so weird. For the second quarter of fiscal 2020, diluted earnings per share increased 28% from the same period in the prior year. All I had to say is year over year. Anyway, so a lot of positive news from that. If you're trying to build a long-term, portfolio, and try to get your dividend appreciation, and use that compound interest to your advantage, then this is definitely a good stock to hold on to, because they're still declaring their dividend. So a lot of companies out there, when the pandemic hit, stopped declaring their dividend, and if you look at the company, they were not profitable. So this company, is basically showing you that they're profitable. They're increasing their sales every quarter, and they're also declaring their dividend. So, you'll still get paid for holding the stock, which is ultimately, a good way to subsidize your income, especially because you don't really know what's going to go on or what's going to happen. In my opinion, it's definitely a better place to park your money than to put it into a CD or to put it into just a regular, savings account. As you know, those grow a lot slower than dividend appreciation. So you'll get the dividends, and you'll get $1.50 per quarter. So essentially 4 times a year, you'll get $1.50 compared to like the 0.01% you get on, a savings account. I think Ally has a little bit better savings, allocation, but I digress on that. Going into stocks that I want to talk about is Tesla. So Tesla's continued to go up even more. We can see on here that they've kind of broken out. They kind of, lulled back and forth today. They shot up this morning all the way to $1,923.87. But then kind of went sideways most of the day. But it's been on this like stair, metric for a couple of weeks now. So it'll shoot up, it'll run sideways, shoot up, run sideways, shoot up, run sideways. And it's just continued this trend for like a couple of weeks now. I think it may continue this trend until, the split happens. And then when the split happens, I see a lot of people probably selling. They might sell before the split. So you might see on Friday a lot of people dumping shares, which to me makes no logical sense. But I definitely see that happening. But also bear in mind with this company, we still have Battery Day coming up on September 15th. I'm not affiliated with the company. I'm just saying the company has Battery Day coming up September 15th, where they're supposed to announce the million-mile battery. So that's definitely something to look forward to, as well as possible S&P 500 inclusion, which is still yet to be voted on. It's a pretty secretive thing, so they're not going to say, hey, we're meeting to talk about S&P 500 inclusion, or so I've been told. It'll just be a random occurrence that happens. So, once that happens, in my opinion, especially if it happens after the split, I definitely see the stock shooting up tremendously, because then you'll have Apple as well as Tesla being split, and they'll be a lot cheaper and part of the S&P 500, which basically means that all of these people who have money are going to be flooding it. People, all those bears who just talk so much trash about Tesla, who are like, Tesla's garbage, I would never buy Tesla, I think are just waiting around to buy it once it goes down. And then once it goes down, they'll be able to get it on sale and, still continue their bear case, but they'll be able to get in. I think a lot of people, just missed out on the opportunity in March where it actually was at, around $500 a share. And now there's going to be another buying opportunity that comes after this split. So if you're not familiar with the split, it is a 5-to-1 split, which means for every 1 share that you have, that will become 5 shares. So just bear that in mind. Going into Apple for my next one. So Apple is going to be the same thing. Apple has a 4-to-1 split instead of a 5-to-1 split. Okay, so it says, do I feel like Tesla will continue to run up after the split? I think Tesla will run up after the split, but not immediately after. I think a lot of people who are buying Tesla right now are not, long-term investors. I think people are just buying it to sell, or people who are doing it for the sake of options. I think, there are not really that many long-term investors buying this, just for the fact that it hasn't ran up, its crazy amount that it usually runs up. I think, possibly Friday they may dump a lot of shares, so just look forward to that. A lot of people may dump their shares on Friday in expectation to just buy back cheaper, because I think some people fundamentally just don't know how stock splits work. But I definitely think after that it will run up. It'll be a lot cheaper because a lot of people will be able to afford it, And then also, you got to think Battery Day is coming up as well. So Battery Day to me is going to be one of those um, benchmarks for the company as a whole that's going to determine the future of the company. So, if Tesla comes out and says, we got a battery, and this is its capabilities. We're going to show you the factory, how it's made. It's not just going to be, people in the financial community watching that review. They're essentially going to be, GM, Porsche, Ford, every major car company is going to be watching that release to see the new industry standard for, how batteries are supposed to perform. So I think it's going to be a really big and really interesting, day on September 15th for Battery Day. And then you also got to think that a lot of the times the news lags the actual share price. So I think it's going to be, a pretty historic rally in my opinion, as people are probably going to buy. I think a lot of, retail investors are going to sell off because they're looking for profit now. But then a week from now, it's going to be, people are going to be buying like crazy. A lot of retail investors and institutions to buy in anticipation of Battery Day. So I think it's going to rally back up towards Battery Day. Depending on where their stock price is, I think it could easily rally back up to $1,200 a share after the split. And then after Battery Day, I expect it to go up a little bit more after that. But, interesting to see how that's going to perform. Apple, I think may do the same thing as well. Apple was kind of, didn't go up as much as Tesla has. The volatility of Apple's kind of been kind of slow in my personal opinion, but it still is bullish. So, you can make a case for Apple that it may do the same thing. Apple shares are definitely going to be a lot cheaper to buy than Tesla shares, even after the split. So, Apple may be one that you can, may prefer to get over Tesla, especially considering the fact that Apple gives dividends. So, if you're getting 25 cents, per share dividend wise, they're not going to split the dividend. So, they're going to still give you 25 cents per share. But now instead of, having, 25 cents when you hold the shares, you'll have $1 that you'll get. So I think, Apple could possibly have the same sort of formula to run up just like Tesla, but just based around something different, which is going to be the release of the new iPhone with 5G. Yes, I do think that NIO could possibly benefit from Tesla's run up, but NIO is a Chinese company as well. And the way that I've seen it before is like usually when one EV goes up, the other ones go up as well. So I don't think, they're going to go down. If you look at, here we can go look at NIO. And then I'm going to pull up Nikola as well. And then we can see, so let's see, they declared their 5-to-1 split on, I can't remember what day it was. So right around, give me a second, I'm going to look up their 5-to-1 split day. So like around last week. So if we look here, we're going to say around the 12th, probably around the 17th, which was Monday. So we're going to say around the 12th, 11th, 12th. We can see the stock shot up. It went from around 1,300 to about 1,500. Then if we look at NIO the same day, around the 12th, it rallied as well. So even though NEO had nothing, to do with Tesla stock going up, NEO also rallied that exact same day. Now it didn't go bullish, but it did have a rally. So it went from, about, 1298 up to, 1351. If we look at Nikola around that same date, which is the 12th, we can see that around 41.99 that date, and then they went up as well to 47.45. So it seems to be this trend of when when Tesla goes up, that the rest of the EV world stock wise go up, even though they don't have anything going on with them. So I think, yes, in that sense, NEO could benefit from Tesla going up. Now, will it break out because of that? I don't think so. But I definitely think, once Tesla announces, news of this magnitude, that all EV stocks in general will have a little bit of a gain. With Nikola, there's still Nikola World. They released a video of the Badger. It wasn't moving, but it was not a render. So, that's just one thing to look at as well. To me, that's kind of how I track EVs, is they usually all go up around the same time, based around Tesla. Tesla's kind of like the anchor, I guess. And if we're looking at this in a planetary point of view, we can say Tesla's basically the sun. And if the sun's gravity changes, the planets around it move. Now, I know it's a very nerdy analogy to say, but they're kind of the center of the galaxy as far as EV is concerned. So, everyone's going to be affected by that, and it seems to be a positive effect, just by tracking the dates of when Tesla has major news and how other stocks in the EV world are affected by that. Now you could use that to your advantage. You can say, I know Battery Day is September 15th, and, I know that other EVs go up based around Tesla's news. So you may be like, all right, I'm just going to get a couple of shares of NEO, or like 2 shares of NEO since they're cheaper, 1 share of Nikola, and just hold on to them and see how they perform after Battery Day is announced, because I do not believe that they're going to go down after Battery Day. I think the whole EV world's going to go up, and people are going to be like, oh, okay, this is what's possible with EV. This is what Tesla's doing. This is what these other companies could do. So yeah, yep, I think that was a pretty good strategy. So yeah. Going into other ones for next week. For tomorrow. Tomorrow, earning wise, we got Target, TGT, and they're looking pretty red today. Their moving average 10 is 137.26. Moving average 50 is 136.53, and moving average 100 is 134.65. They ended today at 136.90. They went down $1.32 after hours to 135.58. If we look at Nvidia has earnings tomorrow as well. Nvidia's been pretty bullish. Today they kind of ran sideways, so don't know what that means about the stock as a whole. But from my reading, they ended positive, so I definitely expect them to break out again tomorrow. Hope people were able to get calls for them. Because, I definitely think they're going to perform the way AMD performed. So if you look back in the past to AMD had like this crazy continuation after earnings. So it went up, and then it kept going up like the 70s, and then went up, and I think it touched the 80s. Let me pull up AMD. So I can just show you all that chart. Yeah, so AMD had like a pretty crazy run up after earnings. So, they broke out, went pretty bullish, ran, went down, and then they broke out again. So they were like down here, then they broke out and went all the way back up to 84 where they kind of ran sideways. But if you were able to catch it here before the breakout, then you're able to capitalize on that. And if you're also able to catch it after it went down here, then you were able to capitalize on that. So, this is, if you look at this is after hours on the 11th. Then the 12th, it had its breakout. That's why I use these three different metrics, or four different metrics. VWAP14 just denotes volume, but it tracks the moving average 10 in my opinion. But if we look, you could be able to capitalize on that by saying, okay, the moving average 10 line, is going up, and it's crossed the moving average 50 line, and then you could see that it's tried to be bullish, but it definitely had a continuation after the fact of its run up. So that was definitely something good to look at. And I think NVIDIA may have the same trend. If we look on here, they definitely rallied quite a bit. If we go on here, we can see they've kind of been, sideways for most of the day. But you got to think NVIDIA kind of has like this, cult around them of people who just buy their shares. And I think their earnings is going to be, really good. And I think they're going to, continue to rally in the morning. So definitely got my eyes on NVIDIA for tomorrow. Also tomorrow, you got Lowe's, ticker sign LOW. So its moving average 10 is 158.57. Its moving average 50 is 156.76. Moving average 100 is $155.78. And it ended the day at $157.97. So after hours, it went down 40 cents. $157.51 is where it ended. Kind of have mixed feelings about this one as well. If we look at Home Depot, has kind of ran sideways even after earnings. It seemed to be kind of dull. But here you can see there's a lot of people who sold off. But for Home Depot, I had it called as a put, so it doesn't really bother me any on that one. But for Lowe's, I think Lowe's, is a larger company than Home Depot. But on here, it seems to be a lot of mixed feelings about what people think about Lowe's. Denoted by some green, some red, some green, some red. Seem to be evenly dispersed on the metric is where to place that and how they're going to perform in earnings. I think they'll perform well in earnings. I think the company is a lot larger than Home Depot, in my opinion, and a lot more popular. Definitely, go with Lowe's because they support the veterans, which I am definitely a fan of. They have veterans parking. So, any company that's, really geared towards supporting America and openly does it without, having shame towards it, I definitely would be, supporting them as well. As Warren Buffett says, don't bet against America. So I kind of follow that strategy as well. And I think Lowe's definitely was able to capitalize a lot by, the storms that we had this year. Tornado season was kind of, pretty vicious. Hit my hometown in Tennessee, hit Arkansas, hit a lot of states pretty hard, hit my hometown of Nashville, this year. And I know that a lot of people were going and flooding the different, Home Depots and Lowe's, trying to get whatever supplies they could to rebuild the city. So I know storm season was, in the past. It was, quite a while ago. But, that was kind of a pre, pandemic thing. But, definitely something that was still important that could help, the earnings overall. Already seen, how I perform after that earnings. But, that's a long-term growth thing in my opinion. So, yeah, going into back to the EV world, definitely keep your eyes out on Tesla for tomorrow and on Friday. I think Friday's the day that they record the split. I'm going to be playing this a little bit differently. than some other people. I was able to capitalize on a call today. Was able to lock in 1,400 from the call, so I was pretty happy about that. And then I bought 2 shares of Tesla, so you know I'm gonna basically wait it out to see how they perform after battery day, and then my 2 shares will become 10 shares. Then I'll have 10 shares, and hopefully it'll rally up. Um, after that, I'm not really long term on Tesla. I am long term, but I'm not like long term in the sense of holding this stock for 10, 20 years. I'm long term in the sense of gaining capital from this major move in the company, seeing how it performs. If it does really well, and I think it's going to continue to go up, then I'll continue to hold my shares. I bought 8 shares of Apple as well. Doing the same thing with Apple. Interested to see how they perform after the earnings. After the release of the new iPhone. Should be a major move in the company's history. In my personal opinion, the iPhone itself was a major move in the company's history. WWDC 2020 was pretty big with the release of OS 14. Definitely, a lot of updates as far as that was a big event because they moved from the Intel chips to their own chips. So that was a big milestone in the company's history, in my opinion. I think they have a really good path forward with their new CEO, and I think he's leading the company in Tim Cook. I think he's leading the company in a really good direction. There was not a lot of hope after Steve Jobs passed away, on the direction of the company. But I think Tim Cook is taking it in a pretty good direction. That's why he gets paid the big bucks. But, as far as CEOs are concerned, Elon Musk and Tim Cook to me are, good examples of CEOs that, in my opinion, really care about the company. Elon Musk, every time you hear him talk about the company, you can definitely see that he is passionate about investors and passionate about, the overall growth of the company. He's very adamant about having new, fresh ideas to the company, which I think, Tim Cook is too when it comes to Apple. But, one of the CEOs that I definitely have my eyes on for the future is Trevor Milton, or former CEO, as you would call it, because I'm not really understanding his vision or direction for the company. I do believe, once once Nikola World comes out and they're actually able to drive around the Badger, I think that's definitely going to be a breakout for the company in general. And I definitely could see the stock shooting up after that. It shot up, a lot just off news that Trevor Milton was talking to Hyundai about making, hydrogen vehicles. So, if that minor, rumor about the company going up, does that much of an effect, then I think, actually having the Badger driving around will have a tremendous effect as well. One company to keep your eyes out on for is Oracle. Oracle had a little small breakout today. They announced that they are trying to acquire TikTok, just like Microsoft. So they're in talks of getting TikTok. If you're not familiar with what TikTok is, it's a social media platform where people can go and basically post small 15-second videos where they're dancing or giving information or something of that nature. I have a TikTok, but it's basically talking about financial information. So not that interesting compared to some of the real creative people that are out there. But them trying to acquire it, made the stock shoot up. It went from 53.84 all the way to 56.92 today. And I think it will continue to grow. If we look on the left-hand side right here, definitely looking for the continuation tomorrow. It ended at 55.15. It ended at 55.18. But then after hours went down 3 cents. It's not a major move. But, once this news, to me, in my opinion, catches on, or whenever a deal is done between Microsoft and possibly Oracle, or, I don't know how this move is going to be made, but, for the U.S. portion of TikTok, I'm definitely interested to see how these companies are going to perform. When Microsoft announced that they were trying to acquire TikTok, their stock shot up as well. From 53.66 to 56.92 is not that big of a move in my opinion. I think it may possibly have a continuation for tomorrow because this kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people. I know the article came out at a really weird time. I read it this morning and I was like, it already said like 4 hours ago. Yeah, it is a very slow mover. I will agree with that. With that, 60 is probably a really good, or whatever call you were able to obtain is probably pretty good. I know I picked up some calls as well for the company, and I think I picked up like 10 calls. So definitely, I think I picked up 10 calls at 62.50 strike price. So whatever they do, and I picked them up for October because the deal is supposed to go through in September, which is what Microsoft said. I think that was the deadline that Trump had given them, was until September to that um, execute that contract. So sometime out past September, we should know the future of TikTok. Also, one that I have on my list for this week is considering, talking about Chinese companies. We have Baba for Alibaba. They have just recently had a breakout. So if you look on here, today they began a breakout. Their moving average 10 line crossed the moving average 50 and moving average 100, which to me denotes a breakout. So they are on a breakout for today and continue to rally. I think they will continue to rally until their earnings or before. So if you're able to lock in a call and execute that call before earnings, then you may be able to lock in some profits on that one, especially if you bought it down here when it was bearish. And definitely one of the companies to keep your eyes out on, especially because it's in that weird niche of, I guess you can call them government watched companies. I know Trump was talking about regulating Alibaba, just like he's trying to do with TikTok. I don't think that will really affect the company as a whole if hurting them. I know a lot of people use them for e-commerce because their products are a lot cheaper and drop shipping. But when the pandemic started, I think a lot of people switched over to a lot of other platforms because there's a lot of uncertainty with the company and drop shipping. But definitely keep your eyes out on them. Their earnings is on Thursday, so I don't know if it's before or after the bell. So just keep your eyes on that one. And when their earnings come out, I'll talk about them as well. But they seem to have began their rally. How high this will go, I don't know. But it's good to see that they have began their rally on there, and I expected to see a rally, especially with a company of this magnitude and all the things they do, because they're basically the Amazon of China. So, a lot of good news coming from them. Interested to see how they perform. So this is going to be my watch list for today. For tonight, got Walmart, Apple, Home Depot. All of those had earnings today. Tesla and Apple, definitely keeping my eyes out on for next week. And Target, Nvidia, Lowe's, keeping my eyes out on those for tomorrow. We'll come back here at the same time, 7 o'clock, to report those earnings and to see how the other ones perform. Neo, Nikola, AMD, Oracle, and Alibaba. I'm going to keep Oracle, Alibaba on here because I'm interested to see how those perform and if they have a continuation of the breakout for Oracle. Definitely see if it'll get past my strike price of $62.50. And Alibaba to see how high it goes. Um, you know, usually when stocks end green and then they go up after hours, it means that they're due for a breakout or they're about to break out. That the market believes that they're bullish, and usually if stocks in red on the day, that it means that they are bearish. And I mean the after hour report. So that's something that I noticed a lot with stocks, that if you see a stock in the day green, that it's usually denoted by it being bullish, that people believe that it's bullish. And if you see a stock in the day at red after hours, then people believe that it's bearish. So hopefully that's not the case with Apple. Hopefully Apple will continue to go up. Okay, Apple is green. Okay, hopefully that's not the case with Walmart. That's what I meant, because I have some calls for Walmart. Hopefully tomorrow Walmart will turn around, and they'll begin to be bullish. But it's looking like there'll be other, because a lot of people sold off on there. But I think their earnings are really good. Anyway, hope this video helped you all. If you like more of these videos, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Try to give more earnings as they come out. Try to give more analysis on things like Tesla and Apple as they come up. Hope you all are able to lock in some profits. If you're interested in learning about dividends, want to grow a dividend portfolio, I have a small mini course on my channel. It's free. You don't have to pay anything for it. I do have Cash App links on my description, so if you want to donate, feel free to. But I don't do this for money. I do this for information, just to help people out. So it's all done out of goodwill. Hopefully that dividend video can help you all, or that dividend series can help you all if you're interested in starting a dividend portfolio. I also have merch, some t-shirts and stuff that I'm selling. Also, not forcing anybody to get those. I will start wearing those because I think they look cool. And some masks, because masks are starting to be required everywhere. A lot of places I go there, even though people, you'll see them walk in. I don't have a mask with me. You'll see them walk in with the mask, and their mask will be like down here on top of their head. I still wear mine. If I can, do something to protect myself from giving germs to other people, or vice versa, I think it's worth the good college try. So I will continue to do that. But I hope everybody's able to lock in profits. Check the community tab for the rest of the plays for the week. And I hope everybody has a good rest of the week and a good rest of the night. So I'll see you guys next time. Same time tomorrow. Going over those stocks. See you guys. Peace.